Hello, good morning. Welcome to another tutorial. Today we're going to make a solitaire ring by using sweep to rail and bezel cutter basically. First of all, we're going to start by setting a ring rail. Britain, size M for instance, or whatever you want. So we get the ring rail. We're going to add an outside ring rail by selecting the ring rail, F6, outside ring rail. We can use this one, it's really up to you. Just remember that you can change that outside shape by clicking on this folder. So you have a massive library of folders, of profiles, sorry. We're going to stick to this one. Remember also that you can modify the distance of the top thickness, the side thickness and the bottom thickness. Okay. Right. The moment you're happy with that, just press enter. Now we're going to add some profiles. So we're going to select the first ring rail we did, then F6 and add profiles. As you can see, that profile is not adjusting to the outside ring rail. That's because we need to select here second rail. So just left click in there and we need to select the outside ring rail basically. You see it here on the top on the command line, it says select second rail curve. So we click on that. As you can see, now it goes from the ring rail to the outside ring rail. By default it has placed this shape. I think it's because it's the last one I've used. We're going to change that. So I'm going to click on the folder. I'm going to move up and I'm going to select this one for instance. Right. Remember that by pulling from those arrows you can make it narrower. I'm going to make it about 4 mm more or less. Of course you cannot modify the height because it's already been set by the distance of the distance between the ring rail and the outside ring rail. Alright. I'm gonna add two more profiles. I'm gonna click on add here and I'm gonna place the pointer of the mouse here where it says quadrant and I'm going to move it to there. Actually I'm copying the profile. Right? So I have a profile in there with that shape. I want to change it, I want a different one. So I'm gonna click on the folder again and I'm gonna select this one for instance on the first row. Right, this is about 4 mm. I'm gonna make it narrower up to 2.6 for instance. Right, so now we have two different profiles. Ideally I need like 3 different profiles, so as it's going to be a symmetric ring, I want that one to be on that side. If I click on add again, it's not going to be accurate. If I want to be accurate, I need to select on add mirror. You can see now it's totally mirrored. Right, so we press enter now and we have one rail, another rail and 3 different profiles. Okay? So with that information we're going to get into the surface menu, sweep to rail. Then the first rail is going to be this one, the first one, and then the second rail is going to be the outside ring rail. Now we need to select the section code for the profiles. The profiles are going to be this one, and this one. Enter, enter again. And now here we have a preview of our ring, of our shank, how it's going to look like. Just mind that close sweep should be checked, otherwise we'll get something like that. And we don't want something like that, so we better check close sweep. And maintain height could be important at some times, otherwise we can get like a bumpy ring like that. Right? And well, these ones basically do not simplify. I think I explained that previously in another tutorial, but basically do not simplify. It's as it's going to be, like the normal one. Rebuild is going to make your ring much smoother, especially in the edges. And the more control points you set here on rebuild, the more straight it's going to look like, the more similar to the profiles it's going to look like, right? And refit basically makes everything go, it's pretty much like do not simplify, but what it does, it's like sometimes when you have profiles that have like a strange shape, refit basically plays everything better. It's quite technical, but basically makes the surface smoother, more regular. Anyway, usually by setting do not simplify or refit should be alright in this case. This is quite a simple ring. So refit, preview, okay. Right, so we have our shank now, and we're going to place a gem. So we're going to go to gems, gem loader, and we've moved this menu up. I'm gonna use 1 carat, well that's too much, yeah, about 0.6, which is slightly more than 5 mil. Automatically it will be placed on the 0 enter in the center of the document. I'm going to select the gem, F6, MSR, and I'm going to move it up by pulling from the yellow arrow. Right, something like that should be alright. Yeah. So now I'm going to select the gem, F6 again, and bezel. See, by default, the first one that it's using is this one. We're going to use the third one, which is like an under bezel, but we're going to modify that bezel. I'm gonna make it bigger, and then I'm going to pull from this yellow box in the middle, so it's moving it up. I'm gonna make it slightly wider. Always consider the thickness, it's enough for the setting, right? That's really up to you anyway. Right, so I'm gonna make something like that. So I'm gonna press enter. Just make sure that we have enough metal, that should be right. Right, and then I'm gonna select the bezel I've just done, F6 again, and bezel cutter. Basically, bezel cutter, what it's doing, it's making solids and cutting on the bezel. It's like a Boolean difference. Well, actually, it is a Boolean difference. By default, you probably get something like that. I think that by default it's going to get, sorry, you will get something like that. Basically, what you have to do is go here, number of cutters, and change that up to 2 cutters. You can change the position of the cutters by clicking here, position odd, position even. What we're going to do now is do it like that, so position odd. And well, this is really up to you, but basically I'm going to move the cutters. I'm going to make it smaller from one side and bigger from the other one, so I get this kind of shape, right? Probably not that big, yeah, something like that. And by moving these boxes, especially the Z offset, I'll move it up and down. Right, so something like that should be okay. Then press enter. Right, we are nearly done now, but mind that we have like a big piece of metal, well, a big solid just in the middle of the gem, so we need to get rid of that. Just get into through finger view, get a curve, polyline, and just make a line like that. It has to go through, right? And make mirror to the other side. Sorry, I'm explaining this again. I have the line, mirror, start of mirror plane, 0 enter, and then shift up, right? and then I need to make this closed. So I'm gonna go to line again. That's an endpoint to endpoint, and again another line from that endpoint to that endpoint. Select everything, join, and then I'm gonna make a solid. So solid, the first block, extrude curve straight. Right, so now I just need to make a boolean difference. The first object is going to be the shank, enter, and the second one is going to be this, enter. Right, so we can now delete this, and here it is. Right, we can hide the gem so we can check. So that's it. Thank you so much. Bye bye.